Catholic laity urged J.D. Vance to launch racketeering investigation into bishops. My first question, just up front, is why are they asking J.D. Vance just because he's Catholic? He's vice president. He wouldn't be the person to do this, but I guess, hey, maybe they have a connection. We'll see. This story comes to us from Jules Gomez over at The Stream. Prominent lay Catholics are calling on Vice President J.D. Vance to investigate the U.S. bishops under the provisions of the Racketeering Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, the RICO Act, a law first used to prosecute the Mafia in the 1970s. We request that a RICO investigation be undertaken into how the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops dispersed funds received from USAID, a cohort of Catholic scholars, journalists, and victims of clerical sex abuse wrote in a March 8th letter to Vance, who is also Catholic. Investigating the church will not be easy. It has a long record of lack of transparency and refusal to cooperate with law enforcement. And this is according to the signatories. Catholic laity have little to no means to correct the leaders of our church. It has only been through civil and criminal lawsuits that justice has been achieved. They offered to help. They said that we have access to some whistleblowers about how the USCCB and the NGOs have misappropriated the funds entrusted to them. The signatories noted that the newly formed DOJ has already discovered that an obscene amount of funds has been given to the Catholic Church through its various organizations to help settle refugees and immigrants. How many illegal immigrants did they assist? They asked. Did any of the funds end up in the hands of cartels who are involved in criminal behavior such as sex trafficking and the smuggling of fentanyl? What did they do to protect vulnerable children and women? Rachel Mastrogiacomo and Wiselaw Wallywander, both victims of clerical sexual abuse who signed the letter, said they are calling for the RICO probe so that other innocent victims can be protected from predatory priests and prelates. RICO makes it illegal to acquire, operate. You guys know what RICO is all about. So, yeah, it's something that didn't get much attention not during the campaigns, not during the entirety of Joe Biden's presidency, his entire regime, even though he himself is also allegedly a Catholic. It really does, make us think back to some of the theories that I've had in the past and that I still hold, that much of the push, if not all of the push, at least from the upper echelon of the globalist elite cabal, what they're really trying to do is to smuggle in children. They have an appetite, a very sick, seditious, heinous appetite for children. They need as many of them as they can get their hands on. And what better way to get their hands on them, unfortunately, literally, than by bringing in nameless, faceless children that nobody's going to ask about, that nobody's going to investigate, bring them in from other countries, bring them in across the border through cartels, many of whom are already broken by the time they get here. The cartels have already destroyed these children. And then they're brought here, and then they are disappeared. They just go missing. Some say 300,000, others say 500,000. I would estimate that in reality we're talking about over 1 million people. And for the Catholic Church to be participating in this in any way, I'll admit it was a big surprise. I get it that USAID is is controlling, bribing, manipulating people across the globe. But I did not see the Catholic Church as one of the recipients. Now that we know, at least according to this request, and this what's probably going to end up being at least a lawsuit, if not a criminal investigation, now that we know from these lay leaders within the church itself, what if the Catholic Church, and when I say Catholic Church, I'm not referring to Catholics per se, okay? So I don't want to get all the things, oh, you're ripping on Catholics. No, I'm ripping on the Catholic leadership, just as these lay leaders within the church itself are doing the same thing. We're talking about the bishops. We're talking about starting from Pope Francis and whoever's pulling his strings, if anybody, and all the way down amongst the leadership. They're getting rid of the good priests and bishops. They're installing bad ones, many of the times evil ones. And did they participate? Are they part of this globalist elite cabal program, because it really is very coordinated, this program to bring as many I guess, ghosted children as possible into the United States and probably across the globe. I think the argument is worthy of further investigation. I'm not going to make any accusations at this stage, but I'm glad that somebody is speaking out. This is what it takes. Things will go unnoticed, unpunished, until somebody has the courage to speak out and to try to grab somebody's attention. So in the beginning, I said I don't know why they would go after J.D. Vance, just because he's a Catholic, but he's vice president. Why would they go to him specifically to seek this out? Considering that he is a fighter, a warrior, somebody who's willing to stand up for those who need him the most, maybe he's the perfect choice. Please go to jdrucker.com/find, jdrucker.com/find. You'll find all of the various places where I publish my work, my podcasts, my videos, my socials, everything like that. jdrucker.com/find.